Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 8th episode of the 2025 OSAA High School Football Officials Training video, our Clips of the Week. Can't believe there are only 2 weeks left in the regular season. We have a large number of clips to look at this week, so let's jump right into this week's action. So with this week's selection of clips, we're going to focus heavily on the use of proper mechanics and discussing why it is that we have the mechanics that we do. The first two clips are going to involve free kicks, and in both of these, we're going to miss illegal blocks. So on this first one, we want to watch for a block in the middle of the field towards the lower hash, which would be the center judge's responsibility. And we're going to notice this player of the return team who is clearly going the wrong direction. They are swimming upstream. Again, this is a member of the return team, and they're going in opposite direction. And so our antenna should go up at this point. Our radar should go off. Why is this player going in the wrong direction? And if we see this, we want to pay special attention to this player, and we'll see why here. So this is obviously a clear blindside block, and unfortunately, we do have this missed, and this would most likely be the center judge's responsibility. The referee is probably looking behind the runner or towards the middle of the field, and our line judge is probably taking on either a block in front of the returner or the returner themselves. So again, our center judge here, who did a good job of coming into the field of play, does miss this blindside block. So this is actually from a different game, but the same field. And we're going to get another free kick here. And this time we want to look at one of the back judge's responsibilities. Now, as a reminder, we ask our back judge to come in to pass the hash mark on their side once the kicking team has crossed them. And then similarly for our umpire or center judge position, once the kicking team has passed them, we want you to come in, pass the numbers, and hopefully to the hash. And we want you to move quickly so you can get in position to get set and look for blocks. And as we watch this unfold, we're going to notice the back judge is very hesitant to move in, and so is our center judge. And if we look at the highlighted player here, we're going to miss a clear block in the back that should have been the back judge's responsibility. This is in their area of their keys after the kick. We also could have gotten help from our head linesman on this and possibly even our referee, but this is the primary for the back judge. And we miss an illegal block in the back on this that springs a very long return. So again, back judges and umpires, let's hustle into the field, get set, and be able to officiate this play from inside out so we can better be positioned to pick up blocks like this. Well, we always show a lot of scrimmage kicks, and this week is no different. And we'll continue to show these because week in and week out, we continue to miss bad blocks on punt plays. So on this play, we want to watch action that our head linesman should have picked up. So this is going to be right around midfield, and we're going to get a clear takedown hold. This should be an easy pickup for our head linesman. Unfortunately, we missed this. And then we're going to notice that our umpire is running by this as well. And it looks like perhaps maybe we have a trip after the play as well. And we're going to get a view from the end zone here as well. And we're going to see how quick this takedown hold was. And again, this should be the head linesman's responsibility. But then our center judge is going to run past this as well. And again, that does look like a trip. So again, we want to make sure that our wings, as they're coming downfield, they're looking at blocks in the middle of the field and not paying attention to the would-be returner until they become their responsibility. So we have another punt play here. We're going to miss at least 2, if not 3, illegal blocks. So we're going to miss this first one here. And again, we can see that one player doesn't see this coming while the other one is seeking out this block. And most likely this block would be the head linesman's responsibility. But our returner is not threatened yet. And our back judge should be moving off the returner and looking at blocks. So we're going to miss our first block here. And then we're going to have a clear illegal block in the back that our back judge misses. And then towards the end of the play, we have a suspect block here for maybe an illegal block in the back. And we'll look at that one when we see the end zone view here. So our back judge starts in good position. And they do a good job of not following the ball. And again, the head linesman's probably going to be able to pick up the first blindside block. But now we're too focused on the returner as the back judge, and we're going to miss this block in the back. And then again, as the play develops, there's a possible another block in the back, although from this angle, that looks like that's not necessarily the case. Of course, if any of these three were picked up, we would take the one that was most penal to the return team. But again, just emphasis for the wings that you have to look in front of the returner for blocks during the kick and also during the return. So on this punt, we're going to look at it from 3 different angles. We actually have a camera on each side, and then we'll also take a look at an end zone view here. And what we're going to notice is that the punt lands short of the returner, and the returner never touches the ball. And then towards the end of the play here, our back judge is not showing any urgency. They're not killing the play. They're trying to drop a bag amongst a large group of players. And what ends up happening is the ball is awarded to to the kicking team. So the ruling by the back judge on this play was that the return team touched the ball, which is clearly not the case. And then the ball is recovered by the kicking team, and they were again rewarded the ball. So if we see this from the other angle, this is a little bit higher up. And again, it's just a good angle to show that the ball was never touched by a member of the return team. And unfortunately, the back judge didn't get any help from either wing, but maybe they were looking at blocks in advance of the would-be returner. So now let's look at why this possibly happened. And again, with the focus on mechanics, we asked the back judge to go to the wide side. We want them to be 2 to 3 yards behind them, but then well wide of the returner. And this gives us an angle towards a play like this. It helps us see blocks, but it also helps us in a situation like this to determine whether or not there was touching by the return team, possibly first touching by a member of the kicking team, etc. And what we're going to notice here if we pause is that our back judge was late to get to the wide side of the field. So again, the back judge needs to get to the wide side of the field, and they were slow to do so. And they never actually get over there. And by the time the ball bounces, and we'll pause it right about that time, they are completely straight lined through the back of number 1 and the returner. And of course, this might look like touching. If we were in proper position, 2 to 3 yards deeper and well wider, we would clearly see that this ball was not touched. So again, focus on your mechanics. Be in the position to rule accurately on a play like this. So while we focus on our mechanics during plays, dead ball officiating is also very important. And we're going to notice that on a couple of plays here. So we're going to have a player that comes in and maybe at first looks like they're going to try to punch the ball out for a fumble, but then they continue to throw 4 or 5 punches. And clearly our center judge is right on top of this. We're going to get an immediate flag from them. And then our line judge is coming in as well, although that might be for a timeout. But excellent job here by our center judge keeping eyes on this. This player was disqualified and ejected from the game, and rightfully so. So good job here by our center judge and making sure that they are keeping eyes on the players even after the play. So on this free kick, it's going to be hard to see from this angle, but we want to watch at the end of the play. There's some altercation between 2 players, and we're going to get a better view from the end zone view. And our referee does a good job staying with the play, and they're going to notice this action by the home team. And we're going to get a flag here. Now, in speaking with the referee, this player was not ejected from the game. And they said that they thought it was an open hand. Let's be clear that that does not matter. Whether this was an open hand or a closed fist, this is by definition striking. And striking by definition is fighting, and fighting by rule is an automatic ejection and disqualification from the game. So if we see something like this and we see this swing here, regardless of whether or not this actually landed and made contact, we would have a disqualification from the game. This is an act of fighting. Okay, back to some basic mechanics here, and we have a snap from the 5 and in. So let's remember our reverse goal line mechanics. When we're snapping from the 5 and in, going out, both wings need to move immediately to the goal line. Our referee should be on the end line. Our center judge would be normal depth. And on this snap here, we're going to notice that our head linesman is slow to react. So again, we'd like our referee on the end line. Center judge is in good position. They need to be able to react to move forward. And we're going to see here the quarterback is under duress, and our head linesman has only moved back a yard or so at this point. They should be on the goal line. Now, of course, from this angle, it's very hard, but you can appreciate why the defensive team thinks this is going to be a safety. Now, the crew does rule this, that the passer had gotten out of the end zone, and they placed the ball about the half-yard line, it looks like. But we'd like to see a sense of urgency, both immediately at the snap, and if you're going to spot this, come running in with your arms straight up. We have no sense of urgency here. If we have this out, we want to sell that spot and make sure that everyone knows that you have them clearly outside the end zone. We're going to take a look at two clips now that involve a rule that we seldom see, and that is something called the momentum rule. Now, on this first play here, we notice that there's less than a minute left. The team on offense is trailing by 10 points. So, of course, they're probably going to take a shot deep. And our back judge does a good job playing deeper than their normal 20 to 22 yards. And you'll see as this pass is released, they're in excellent position behind the receivers and defensive backs. But if we rewind this, we're going to notice that this ball is intercepted, and it's intercepted inside the 5-yard line, right around the 2, and then the defender falls to the ground in the end zone. This should not be a touchback. Remember that if the defender catches this inside the 5-yard line and their momentum takes them into the end zone, they fall down there, we want a beanbag at the spot where they intercepted it, and the ball would be brought out there. So at this point, there's 50 seconds left in the game. And while it's a 10-point game, putting the ball at the 1 or 2 is a lot different than putting the ball at the 20. Now, the crew here ruled this a touchback, which is an incorrect call. This ball should be put down right around the 1 or 2 yard line where the defender intercepted it. This is not a touchback. So let's compare that to this play, which is very similar. Now, this is not an end of the game situation, but we're going to notice here, again, the back judge is in excellent position. They are on the goal line. And just like the play before, we're going to have the defense intercepting it right around the 2 yard line, and their momentum takes them into the end zone. And what we're going to notice is that our back judge puts a bag down just like they're supposed to do. They kill it, and they rule this a interception with momentum, and the ball brought back to the 2 yard line. So again, it's something that we don't see a lot of, but we want to remind ourselves, especially as back judges, that when that interception occurs within the 5 yard line, we need to bring the ball back to where it was intercepted. So this is an interesting play, and I was actually the referee on this game, and we want to watch the left tight end and the block that they do here, and then we'll get a better view from the end zone. So we're going to see they have an attempt at a cut block here. And if we pause it here, this player's the left tight end, and they're on the line of scrimmage, as is the defender. So we might think that is a legal block. However, if we look at this from the end zone view, we're going to notice a couple of things. So first off, our line has wider than normal splits, especially between the left tackle and the tight end. The tight end is also number 59, which is fine, but remember that the free blocking zone is loosely defined as the tight end to the tight end position. And it's one of the reasons why mechanically for our center judge and our referee, we want our initial starting position, to be on the edge of the free blocking zone. And so on this play, we're going to notice that the tight end, number 59, is way outside the free blocking zone, as is the defender. So while they are on the line of scrimmage, neither player is inside the free blocking zone at the snap. And then our center judge picks up that this was an illegal low block. So excellent job to recognize that and being aware of good mechanics and understanding that that player was outside the free blocking zone at the time of the snap. So our last play involves some mechanics as well, but more of the verbal variety rather than anything physically on the field. And we're going to notice here that there is less than 2 minutes left in the game. And the team that is trailing is on offense. So we're going to have a call by the center judge for a foul against the left tackle. I'm not sure if they called a holding or it looks like maybe there's some contact to the helmet area, but we have a foul called. Now, we also have a completed catch. So absent the foul, the game clock would be running. So of course the crew is going to kill the clock, and then we're going to go to the coach and ask if they want this to be enforced, making it 1st and 15 or 2nd and 10. So we can see here that the penalty was accepted. Now, again, with less than 2 minutes left, the defense is ahead by 10 points. We have a penalty in the last 2 minutes, and the prior play would have resulted in a running clock. So we would want to wind the game clock on our ready for play. However, our referee just chops it in. So somebody on the crew at the 2 minute mark, generally that's going to be the back judge, but somebody on the crew has to remind everybody that with less than 2 minutes, we have to be aware of the status of the game clock. So again, the trailing team here benefited from a few extra seconds of time here, and that could be critical over the last couple minutes of the game. Well, that's it for this week's edition of the Clips of the Week. We hope everyone has a great week of games, and we'll see you next week.